Okay, I turn on the stream now. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. We do have the recording on Zoom, right? But YouTube is I didn't put it up for the last week. So I'll put it up. Yeah, I'll put it up. Yeah. So any of you guys went out today? I mean outside. Oh yeah, I can feel my throat right now. It's itching and hurting because I've been talking since 2 o'clock. All right. Let's see what is on I learned. What did you guys do? I learned. Bible 7. Amanda, can you not play with the dogs? I'm giving lecture now. Oh, the link for my YouTube channel. Let me see. What is the link? Okay, YouTube. Right here. I'm posting my link to the YouTube channel. You can see that it is live now. We are actually streaming right now over here. I think so. You mean for this class? All right, here. That's the link to the YouTube channel. And for the last week, the Zoom video is available. Okay. And I will post the link to the Zoom video on iLearn under each one of the section. All right. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes, you just do that. You just answer these 5 questions, right? What is the high level control objective you're trying to do? Okay. And of course, when you write this, you reference the material, right? Okay, this is where you found it in COBIT for under what section, right? The business requirement, right? The control focus, the control objective, how control objectives are achieved, and how controls are measured. As you can see from our last slide over here, right? These things are already available within the document, right? So that's all you need to do for the homework assignment. Oh, they can be in the same category, right? Because you see, these things are documented in COBIT, right? In the format, right? The IT process of whatever satisfy the business requirement of by focusing on what sections is achieved by what controls, measured by what, right? And if you look at any sections within the control objective, you see the high level control objectives already listed here, right? And the format's already here. These are the documentation need that you need to look at inside the COBIT standard, right? So the purpose of this assignment is just to force yourself to be familiarized with the use of a COBIT, right? All right. So who's this? I didn't see the name. All right, Danny. Okay. All right. Let's return to class. And now since everybody is here, it's very nice and we can talk about several things. So this week's research task. Okay, please enable your video so I know you're back. So let's take a look at this week's research tasks. So this week I want you actually to do is quite interesting and quite helpful for your future career. So one thing about IS audit is that the IS audit is a very difficult area to hire. Why? Because you see, unlike accounting, generic accounting, or marketing, or any other area, right? It's difficult to find a school that will pump out new blood for IS auditors. Very, very few schools actually has the curriculum designed to train IT auditors. None. Very, very few. And our class for the IT audit was designed like 10 years ago, and we were never able to have instructed to do this until last year. I start taking control of this class again, right? So therefore, what happens in the industry is that major accounting firms and large companies usually have their own IT audit manual, and to use that to train their internal controllers, internal auditors, or accounting auditors to become an IT auditor. Okay, so what happens is that these IT audit manuals sometimes they make them available for people to see, and we do have an example. And this example is very, very nice. It's from Grant Thornton. And one thing interesting about Grant Thornton is that the Grant Thornton IT audit department has accepted our BEP's invitation to do a technical presentation sometime in August. And our class will be participating in that technical presentation, right? To see what IT audits are done in this day and age, and with the people actually from Grant Thornton. So it would be very nice for you to see what Grant Thornton's IT audit manual looks like, right? And I already posted that document here under your review section. And so your research task is to find other IT audit manuals out there from any other major companies. Maybe KPMG have one, maybe PwC have one, right? And maybe IBM has one, right? So just search IT audit manual, PDF or whatnot to see what you can come up with, right? And briefly look into the document to see how companies or how accounting firms, right, deal with IT audit, what sort of manual process they go through, right? Okay, and so that's this week's your research tasks. And speak of this research task, right? And I have to comment on this, right? So based on what I see from the posts, so week 2, and the research is research audit program. And if you take a look at it, right, the majority of you guys post the research things today. Come on, give me no time to post any feedback or your classmate to have any interaction with you. So try to do it earlier. Hey, it's just search on the internet and post what you find. It's not designed to be difficult, right? So, and this type of research task is designed to get your feet wet, right? To understand what it really is going on with the industry. Okay? So do that early. And let's take a look at this week's, right? So same thing, the learn section, we just went through this 3-1 IS controls, and now we're going to be in 3-2. We're going to the second part of our IS audit program, the determining audit objective and audit subject will be our next lecture. And the exploration and research task is here, right? Explore and research IT audit manuals from major accounting firms or organizations. Do that. Okay, and the example is posted here, right here. The IT audit manual example from Grant Thornton. Okay, so the practice is what we're going to do in the next segment, the group work, the module 1-2, the IS audit objective and audit subjects. Okay, so we'll go over the tasks we're going to accomplish in today's tasks. And today's individual assignment, we just discussed earlier, the organgatronics, the control exercise, right? Okay, the reference material code 4 is already posted here, right? And like I said earlier, you can find one partner, and the both of you will receive the exact same mark. You can work together in this, help each other out. I don't mind that at all. Or you can work individually, right? Okay. The idea that is, if you decide to work together, that you learn, how to work in a close partnership. Right? Can you change partner later down the road? Yes, you can. Right. Okay. Right, but you cannot work in several teams. Like this week, I work with this guy, and I work with that guy, and I work with that guy. And no. Just one partner and one partner only. All right. Okay, any other questions before we move on? Right. So before this, there's one thing that chat just posted here on the side, on the chat. You can see that the virtual meet the firm is coming up really, really quickly on September 21st, right? And the registration process is already open. Chad, would you mind tell us that how much is it for students to participate in this year's virtual meet the firm? Yeah, do you hear that? In-person meet the firm used to cost money. How much was it? $10, right? Yeah, but this year is free for everyone, you know. Yeah, but this see, look at that. You know, it's actually a signal. It's like actually firms are eager to meet you guys because you know what? They are nervous. You know, they are just as nervous as the next business is like, well, this is COVID-19. How can we hire people? Yeah, we need people. Right? They're just as nervous as you guys. It's like the earlier that we were in a BAP's welcome night, and one industry professional, she's from BPM. Her name's Suzanne, and Suzanne said, right, that this is a very very good opportunity for you to shine, right? For you to take this opportunity to shine, that to show that the people that you are able to do things online, you are able to use the computer, you are comfortable, right? Okay, conducting meetings, interviews, presentations, using this new digital format, digital medium, right? If you can do that, you just naturally shine. You will leave an impression, right? Okay, all right. Yeah, you're right. Alyssa's right. You have nothing to lose, right? And usually, when people ask me about getting a job, right? And I always want to tell the student, you know, don't delay it. There's no benefit. You know, believing, enforcing yourself, or try to, how do you say that? Put yourself under a spell, believing that you have to wait till the semester you are graduating to look for a job. No. You get no benefit of that. Accounting job usually starts with an internship. The majority of the accounting job starts with internship, right? Why? Because the firm wants you in the door earlier, and the firm want to learn about you. The firm wants to learn about your aptitude, your natural, the inclination, right? Your natural interest in the particular area of accounting. So after you work the internship, they can assign you to the right department, assign you to the right partner, right audit group, right? So if you're in it early, you get to choose, right? With the people that you naturally like to work together, right? You understand the culture of the firm, the people inside the firm. So it's a win-win situation. You get good money too when you're working the internship. So don't wait till the last semester, right? Like some kids, like Ascend's president last year, Alexander, right? Alexander, I think it's PwC. Yeah, he gets his job. The internship is sophomore, the second year in the program. He already got a job lined up in PwC, major accounting firm, right? Is there any metric to that? No, you just show up, right? And tell them that you're a dedicated student, you're interested in getting a job, you love to accounting, you want to work, and that's it, right? Yep. Yep. And you know, if you had the chance to talk to students in other department, this is unheard of. This is something that people salivate over. What, you get your job lined up before you graduate, and how much does it pay? 65, 70? Wow. They'll be like, you know, why don't you tell me earlier? I want to be in that program. Yeah, this is what you're getting, right? So, and there's not much you need to do. Show up, be prepared, right? And now you don't even need to travel. You just turn on your computer and click that link, right? Yeah. And then, you know, at the end of the day, The worst thing is they say no. They say maybe next time. You know, that's the worst you get. You know, it's not like that. You know, it's like it's easier than asking some girls, some guys out, right? All right. So let's go to our next segment. And let me put the slides up. Hold on for a sec. Some reason it's not showing. Oh yeah, and if you talk to other professors, like even let's say Tina, is a very outstanding faculty member that we have. She is a retired partner from one of the major accounting firms, and she also sits on the advisory board for her her school. Her alma mater is the Santa Clara University. Very expensive. You know how, you guys know how much is it for Santa Clara accounting department? No. As for students, you know, yeah, 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 yeah. 56K a year. Wow. But do they get paid more when they go into the accounting firm? Exactly the same as you. Yeah, exactly the same. Accounting is very, very fair. You know, it does not discriminate. Yeah. Okay, so let's start today's the second part of the lecture by focusing on the IS audit program. So last week we did the charter. We understand the IS audit charter gives us the authority to conduct the audit, right? To lay the basic rules. No, what do you do? What I do? What is the end result? What is the objective we're trying to do, right? So today we're going to the second part of the planning process to define the audit objectives and the audit subjects. So before we start that, there's some common questions with this IT audit program that we are trying to do. So we took a modular approach. So for those of you who never took my class, you may have questions about what the modular approach is. So what happens in the modular approach is that the audit program is a fairly large end of term project. Huge, right? You're talking about the planning, and inside planning there are 4 or 5 things. You're talking about the execution, right? You have to do your workbook, document the result, and highlight the audit evidence, and you have to do the reporting part to write the report to the audit client. So if I make this final report, the due, I say end of the school year, let's say sometime December, and most of the time the students will only do it 2 weeks, if lucky, before the assignment is due. And that is usually very ineffective. So I took the modular approach, which means that we cut up the big program into several modules. And every week you learn a little bit about the module and you can do it, right? So by the end of module 1, we finish all the design aspect, the planning aspect of the audit, and we're turning module 1. We did a presentation about the planning part of the audit, right? And then we go into the execution part, how to obtain the audit evidence, evaluate the audit evidence, and work audit workbook. Then we finish the second part, and then module 3 is the reporting part. So at the end of the term, when this comes time for you to turn in the final report, you just put all the modules together and put out a table of content, the executive summary, done. You actually have much less work to worry about this way, right? So it may seem a lot of work in the beginning, but it makes it a lot easier down the road because you will find out you just put things together, right? And it's done. But this type of modular approach requires you a continuous dedication to your team member and to the work, right? And that is the ideal way for you to learn. So you are always in this environment, learning, interacting with your teammates. Right? So that's the modular approach. Right? So don't think that, oh, we just learned IT audit, we don't, when is it due, maybe the end of a term, let's not worry about it. No, the best way is just do it as you go. Right? So can I conduct an audit on a nonprofit or student organization? Many students ask me. The answer is yes. Indeed, last year when we taught this class, 2 out of the 6 student group did their student organization, one on Alpha and one on a Beta Sigma Phi, right? I think that's one of the student fraternity, right? They can do that. And also the other one did the on campus, the Veterans Affairs Office. Yeah, that is also doable, right? So if you cannot find an actual business, of course you can do in an organization. Any organization is fine, right? So what IS audit we will be performing is the access control specified in the International Standard Organization ISO 17799. And that document is already posted, okay? And you can take a look at what is actual audit procedures we're going to perform. So it's not like we're reinventing the wheel, right? You are planning the audit, but you are not making up the audit procedures. The audit procedures already written, just like last hour what we emphasized. A lot of work in the audit industry are already done, right? The standards are done, right? Most of the procedures are done, right? We just apply those standards, apply those checks onto a situation and record the audit evidence that we obtained and report it. That's what we do, okay? What standard we will use? The ISO 17799 Information Security Management Standard. This is a recognized international standard, right? If you, in a future interview, you discuss that your experience, you'll be very impressed that you actually went through an actual audit using the ISO standard, right? And even though it's only a small section on access control, but it's already impressive enough. That's what usually done within the allowable timeline, 3 months to conduct an access control audit. It's very acceptable. So what audit procedures? The detail of audit procedures is given in the Excel file already. So those are the part you don't need to worry. Okay. So common IS audit objectives, we know. The audit objectives are broad statement developed by the auditors and define the intended audit accomplishment, what you're trying to achieve, right? And based on what you read in the COVID, the audit objective, right, is usually listed there for you, the high level audit objective, what you're trying to accomplish, right? So I did also engagement objective, like for example, to accomplish the governance and the board directives. You see the governance or board executives, they said, oh, we want to make sure, right, our information system are function well, right, for our production environment. Let's say if you have like a robotic automation system, right, to build cars, right, and the governance, the board of directors, may want to make sure that that thing is actually functioning well, can actually make car without problem. Okay. Or the productivity, okay, the use of IS, the strategic alignment, the investment of IS, the IS acquisition, design, or implementation, or business continuity and disaster recovery, or compliance, or assurance of quality, assurance of security management, assurance of privacy. Okay, so these are all different kind of engagement objective we try to accomplish, right? So once the audit objectives are determined, The IS auditors would then to survey the auditee and decide on the audit subject that would yield sufficient evidence to support the audit report that would accomplish the audit objective. Right? You see, let's say this time we're trying to do access control. So our audit objective is to provide the assurance of our access control process to make sure that people who access the information system are properly authorized, authenticated, and the process they go through are left with the audit trail. So that's the audit objective, right? So after this audit objective decided to say access control, now it's the time to take a look at the auditee. Auditee is the client that you interact with. So in this case, if you, let's say I want to engage the student bookstore, the San Francisco State University bookstore. So the auditee is this bookstore, right? But how about the audit subject? Well, that's a different story, right? So now, in order to determine the audit subject, we have to sort of look at this auditee. Who are they? What business are they in? Right? What's their structures like? Right. The importance of what we learned here is auditee does not equal to audit subject. Okay? Audit subject is the things that you're going to apply your audit on. Right? It can be human. It can be computers. It can be processes. Right? It is still yet to be undetermined at this time when you decide on your audit objective. Right. So the auditee refers to the audit client. It is the organization of the audit subject, right? But the audit subject can be a department, a business process, an IS installation, or even certain policies within an organization can be an audit subject. Let's say we want to access the audit objective access control. But the audit subject that we are only allowed to have access on is their access control policy, a document, right? Can we conduct audit this way? Yes, of course, right? We are able to produce audit evidence based on the audit subject that is given to us, right? So if we are only to audit on the access control policy, a document, are we able to do the audit? Yes, we do. But we are only able to provide evidence based on this standard. Or is the standard accurate? Yes, it is. Are people practicing the standard? We don't know, because our audit subject does not cover that, right? So the audit industry, especially in IS audit or any kind of audit, is that, you just have to be honest. That's all. You don't need to make things up. Right? If you are only able to access an audit subject that's, say, a department, 2 employees there, you give the audit evidence based on this. You don't need to extend your interpretation, right, of what other employees do. No, that is not your job. Okay? Your job is to do the audit based on what standard you are given, what procedures you're given, and on the subject that you're performing on. Okay? To survey the auditee, in order to determine the proper audit subject, the IS audit function must first survey the organization to establish the following. First, the auditee's business practice and the business operation associated with the audit objective. This is to determine the existence of inherent risk, if any, right? Because usually audits are done in what we call the risk-based approach, right? So if we say access control and audit, and based on the auditee of, let's say, last year's example, the Veterans Affairs Office within San Francisco University. So then we have to decide on, survey the organization, right? Okay, this is just a field office of the Veterans Affairs, right? Then we see, okay, the structure of this organization allow many people to access the Veterans Office's computer. So then we understand there's an inherent risk right? Because it is an environment of people going in and out, right? It's not just a set of people using a set of computers, right? So if we look at the student organizations, it may have some inherent risk as well. Why? Because student organizations change their offices on a semester or year basis, right? Okay, so there's an inherent risk that prior officers or individuals who no longer serve in offices may still have access to the computers. So it's not a problem. It can be, but we don't know. But we do know that there's an inherent risk of this type of organization, right? So that's why we have to conduct this kind of survey. What kind of business they are? What do they do? Are they a casino? Hey, casino industry have their own inherent risk. Are they a defense contractor? Well, defense contractor have this inherent risk. Are they an international organization, international business from China? And they have their own inherent risk to look at. Okay, so is the auditee a public organization, a for-profit entity, a regulated entity, right? They all may show you a different type of risk. The auditee's governance structure and their control environment ask you to look at what their governance structure is like. Do you have to answer to an audit committee or board of directors, a chairman directly? Do they have a structure of the governance that you can submit your audit report to? Because guess what? You are not going to submit your audit report to the audit subject. No, it doesn't work that way, right? You are going to submit your audit report to the principals, right? To the person, the auditee, right? The person of a reasonable high level, right? To oversee this whole thing. And provide a quick survey of the organization chart. Who is responsible for governance? That's what you want to find out. Does the auditee have an audit committee, right? Okay. And third is to determine the audit subject. The audit subject can be determined by several factors. First, by the auditors. The auditors may say, yeah, I want you to conduct a access control audit on this department or on this human resources computer or on the, let's say, the accounting program designed for third-party contractors, right? They can assign auditee because the auditors basically is contracted by the auditee to perform a particular task, right? So, of course, the auditors get the pick, right? And then second, first designed by the auditors, second is assigned by the auditee, and third is mutually agreed. Okay, the auditors, okay, or the audit function, okay, may discuss with the auditee, usually the audit committee, and the suitable audit subject. Why? Because when we choose an audit subject, the reason why we do that is we want to perform the audit on a suitable audit subject in order to yield the best audit evidence, right? Okay, why? Because the audit evidence make up the audit report, right? If you say, I want to show that our access control to the computers are adequate, right? Okay, that's what I want to show, right? And then I could discuss with the auditee, hey, I want to get this done. Hey, you want this access control thing done? No. So what kind of audit subject would be the best for us to yield this audit evidence? So that's how these mutually agreed scheme work. Discuss with them. Okay, how about if there's a disagreement on the audit subject? Right, the auditor thinks that in order to provide the assurance on the access control, I gotta have access on the computers and also on the human, right? Because on the computer, it has a definitive record of who accessed the computer at what time. And also on the people, I can show if the people that I interviewed actually yield their access to other people, or if they have go through certain policy procedure to change their password every year, every month, or so on and so forth. So the auditors may think, I need access to these audit subject, man. If you don't give it to me, no, I won't be able to do my audit adequately. But the auditors may say, no, nah, I can't let you have them. So if this is not agreed, there's a disagreement, the audit cannot proceed, okay, unless the audit subject is determined. Right? You can't go for it. You just simply can't, because the auditee won't let you have access to the audit subject, which means you won't be able to produce the audit evidence to achieve the audit objective. That what means if the disagreement arises, the auditors or the audit function must first resort to the audit charter and establish the authority. Say the auditor charter said, okay, this is signed by the president. Give me the authority to gain resource, access to your department. And this is what it says. And if the disagreement still arises, is still there, right? If the authority cannot be established, the charter then is rendered null. It's of no use. This charter has no power, even though it's signed, and the audit will not be carried out whatsoever, because there's no subject for you to perform, or the subject will produce inadequate audit evidence based on your professional opinion, right? So you don't do it. Okay. A lot of times that people think that audit is just there doing a job, right? But what auditor's job is not just like other professional service. You are banking your integrity on the job. That's the whole thing it is, right? Let's say I, as a company, right, I want to borrow some money from the bank, right? So I produce financial statement of my business operation. So the bank can take a look at to think, oh, I'm a good lendee, right, to lend money to. Right, so the important part is the veracity of that financial state I show to the bank. So how do you improve that? To have that bank statement, to have your business report, your financial statement audited by an auditor, right? So the auditor's proof of seal is very important here. Right? Okay. So if the auditor said these financial records are good, I audited using what kind of standard, and I produce this audit evidence to support my audit report, right? That this set of financial record are of reasonable level of quality, right? That's free from intentional error or unintentional mistake. So the bank can rely on this, my audited the financial statement to lend that money. And same thing here with IS audit, same, right? The auditee or the principal, let's say the audit committee, won't approve that access control mechanisms are performed well within the department, right? So it's not like you just give your name away for free. Yeah, I'm PwC, and I said these guys are doing good, right? It's fine, and I give my proof of seal, and people think this company is doing okay. Well, this access control until something happens going on that actually the auditor didn't perform the audit well. The evidence is distorted, and guess what happened? The auditor gets sued, and you lose your reputation, you lose your job. Okay? So recently something happened just over the summer. You know what happened? Wirecard. You guys heard that company? Wirecard is a European digital currency and payment processing company, very big, right? So they got one auditor get into trouble, right? Okay, Ernst & Young, and they say that they discovered the company say they have $2 billion cash. It turned out that $2 billion cash actually not there, right? Okay, so Ernst & Young go through the prior auditors. Hey, you guys, what did you guys do? You guys said the cash was there, but based on our reconciliation audit, it's not, right? So same thing as an IS auditor do. You shouldn't just give your proof of seal that easily, right? Your entire job, your reputation bank on this. So if the auditee does not grant you the access to the audit subject, yeah, you just say no. Is no. No, I'm not going to say. If you don't take a look, if you don't let me take a look at a financial statement, I cannot say your financial reporting process is okay. I don't get to see it. I don't get to audit it. And so you get no audit report. That's how it goes. Okay. To survey the audit subject, once the audit subject is determined, a quick survey of the audit subject is then carried out. Right? First, we survey the organization, right? And then we survey the audit subject. So the important thing is that the survey must yield concrete description of the audit subject. What does that mean? Use quantitative terms to describe the audit subject. How many people, right? How many computers, how many processes, how many transactions, right? To give a concrete, quantitative number. Why? Because that would determine how much resources you're going to need to go through this audit, right? Let's say you're going to do access control, right? And the audit subject is 200 people plus 100 computers versus 2 employees, 1 computer, right? Even though the audit objectives are exactly the same, but because the size of the audit subject is very, very different, so the resource need for the auditors would be drastically different. So it's very important here that the audit subject is described in a way with concrete terms, because that will help the auditors determine how much resource have to be spent for this audit. Right. Okay, so your task for this second part is actually quite easy. For the purpose of your final project, the audit program produced the following. First, describe the audit objective. Since we're going to do access control, so you're going to provide assurance on the access control over whatever department or whatever audit subject that you're going to determine, right? And the auditee survey the auditee, describe the auditee's business, their organization, what did they do, and auditee's governance structure, right? Provide an organizational chart pertaining to the governance structure. Where is the audit committee and the audit subject? This is important because the audit has to be reported to the level above, right? The audit subject. So you need to determine that. And then the audit subject description, survey and describe the audit subject. So that's your this week's task, right? After the audit charter, we look at the auditee, we determine audit objective, and we provide some concrete description of the audit subject to make determination on the audit subject, because that audit subject is what we're going to perform the audit on to produce the audit evidence in order to support our eventual audit report, right? At this point, we don't know whether the audit report is going to be positive or negative. We don't know. But it doesn't really matter, because at this point, we just need to know that what audit subject we're going to perform this audit on in order to get those evidence, right, needed to write the report. Okay, so that's okay? All right. So I'm going to put you guys into groups again. And we continue to work this thing out in the group setting. So any questions before I send you guys into groups? Ask. All right, let me do this. Where is my Excel? You guys are being pretty good, It's been what? 3rd week, and I have like full attendance every week. It's very good. I didn't expect that full attendance every week. So 507. Oh, okay. I think I will post. I ask some of my prior students, and one student group will say, actually, yes, can use their example. So I'll post that groups as an example. It's actually the Veterans Affairs group example. So I will show that. Okay, you get to see their audit charter and also their audit subject determination, right? But I'm not going to show you the full report just once. So by week after week, I will show you by subject. Is that all right? Lisa, do you get my meaning? So we have gone through the audit charter, so I will show you their audit charter. And this week we go through their audit subject and audit objective. We'll see their audit objective, right? And then we move on to the next. Okay, right? Is that reasonable? You know, and in the future, same thing, right? If I will ask perhaps one of you to see, are you willing to use your example for the future students? And you know, based on your feeling, you know, how do you guys feel? Most of you will say, nah, yeah, right? So it's actually quite nice of them. But I will remove their name, so because it's confidentiality issues, so you don't get to see who they are, right? But you can see their work. All right, is that good? Okay, so Nora said, who is Nora? Nora, you guys haven't found a company yet? Okay, so if you haven't worked for companies, you can start from see any of you are currently working in a company. If not, any of you have joined any student organization, right? Or any other type of non-profit organization that you interact with, right? These are usually good source to go. Okay. Okay. Right. If you still do not have, then you can still access to, let's say, Ascend, ASO, or BAP, right? For their permission to conduct the audit on a particular audit subject. Let's say we have BAP here already. Chad is the president of BAP. He may or may not do a audit on BAP, right? But even if he does, he may grant you the access to do the audit on a different audit subject within the BAP. So yeah. But the thing is that even if you do it on a student organization, right? How much the president's involvement is going to be, right? It's a different story because this is designed to audit on a audit subject that agreed by the auditee and the auditors, right? So the auditee may say, let's do it on this group or this department. Right? It totally depends on what you and your auditee decide. Okay? All right, so any other questions? No? Yeah, you can do that. Yeah, you can do that. Yeah. Okay. As long as they have some kind of computer, right? Because since we are doing IS audit, right? So if you don't use any computer, it would be hard to do that IS audit. And no computer, so you're just there sucking your own thumb. You know, where's the computer? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. As long as they have a computer, they use some kind of computer, even one computer, or even use their cell phone, right, as the primary device for communications or management. You can conduct your information system audit on. Remember, in the first hour, we go through what the information systems are, right? Okay. So, all right, let me put you guys into the relevant breakout room in the group. Okay. Huh. Why did I do that? Or recreate manually. All right, okay, breakout room 1. We have Christia, Shire, Shaolin, Ignacio, Kiana. Oh, Kiana is in group 6. Wesley. Wesley. Okay. Number 2, Helen. Ari. Alexis. Monique. Alex Wang. All right, 3. We have Chad. Hui Lam. Amanda. Ryan. Danny. 4. We have Jesus. Jonathan. Brendan. Diana. Nora. 5. We have Jason. Wait, Jason. Jason left? Okay. Alyssa. Minhan. Michael. Tene. All right. Adam. David. Eileen. Jingwei. Okay. All right. Right. So Yaofeng, you are in first group, right? All right. That's what I remembered. All right. So you have your rooms now. Okay. You can take a break and come back to your group, and I will visit each one of you to answer your questions. All right. See you in a bit.